Spring training game here in Sarasota, the beautiful spring training home of the Orioles at Smith Stadium. The Bucks and the Birds wrapping things up as we gear up for the regular season, less than a week away. So, O's fans, your last chance to soak in the Rays. Join us here in Florida. Get set. It's Birds baseball before we head back home to Baltimore. Birdland, springtime, Sarasota, Florida. Another full house will be on hand as the Orioles and the Rays get set to wrap up their final few days and head into the week in which Major League Baseball will have 3 more opening days. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne, and when we get to this point, the decisions become very hard for teams. They're making those final cuts. Both the Rays and the Orioles have cuts to make. For the Orioles, it'll probably be about an outfielder, probably the bullpen. There are 4 going after 2 spots, and the number 5 spot in the rotation. Right now, the top 4 seem pretty well to be set for the Orioles. Jake Arrieta is likely to be the opening day pitcher. Chen, whom we're going to see today, is in. Hamill and Hunter to make it. The last 2 of the questions, Brian Mattis and Wada. Which of them will be in the number 5 spot? Mike Bordick, what do you think?
Well, I'll tell you what, Brian Mattis came into spring training with something to prove after last year's performance. So he came in a lot stronger, working with Brady Anderson all winter. He's had a great spring. He showed he's competitive enough, and Wada has an option left. So I think they may be looking at possibly Wada in the bullpen, but there's a way to maneuver around that situation.
And Wada could end up on the DL. He's had some physical problems, so that still is a possibility. Today we're going to get a chance to see the lefty. Chen is certainly going to be in the rotation, came over from the Japanese League, and they like what they've seen.
He's had a great spring. You know, he's obviously had success over in Japan. He's had the type of spring he's proven to everybody they can throw 4 pitches for strikes. He works hard. People love him. So I look for good things from this guy.
All right, so we'll see whether or not he's got the stuff today against the Rays. We'll have a chance to talk about for both of these teams about decisions to be made. And for players who are still left, Mike, this is a very tough time of spring training for those waiting to see if they're going to go north, huh?
Well, it is really tough. You know, they've had a long spring. You know, a lot of these guys have really put in the hours and the anticipation and hopes that they can make that roster. You never know. You know, you keep your fingers crossed for them.
All right, we'll talk about those players during our ball game today. Great to have you with us. Orioles baseball. It's the O's and the Rays from Sarasota, Florida. First pitch coming up. in Sarasota, where it has never been winter this year. The temperatures continue to be in the mid to low 80s. It has been like this virtually the entire winter season. We'll be up around 82 or 83, maybe even higher out there in the field for today's game. And we are set to go with it. Sarasota. That brings you Orioles baseball. Go beyond the stadium. Visit Sarasota on Florida's Gulf Coast at number1beach.com. That's just the way it looks today. We're going to have another big crowd on hand. The Orioles, probably with today's crowd, are going to have the second largest spring training attendance figure in the history of the franchise here at Ed Smith Stadium. But it's been a very good season as far as fans showing up for the games is concerned. Now let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Rays. Jennings, Pena, and Longoria. Keppinger, Rodriguez, and Molina. Joyce, Johnson, and Reed BRIGNAC batting ninth. Last season for Evan Longoria, that's the average, but the big power, 31 homers and 99 RBIs.
Yeah, WEIYIN CHEN's pitching today. 4-pitch mix. He's a strike thrower. He's proven that this spring. And he controls the running game really well, which is crucial, it seems, after what we've been seeing this spring training with teams, their running ability. The Red Sox have been running. Yankees have been running. Obviously, Tampa's a very aggressive team as well.
So Chen will get a final tune-up for what he hopes will be his part in the rotation. There are the numbers this spring, and they indeed have been very solid. An interesting number Mike and I were talking about before the game today that fans may not realize, for that matter, may not believe, with all the discussion about the Orioles trying to set a pitching rotation. The Orioles as a team this spring are 4th in all of Major League Baseball in ERA. 3.38 is the earned run average. Only the Jays, Cardinals, and Marlins have better spring ERAs. That will take you right to the argument of who cares, it's spring training baseball, or I'd rather be up there than down at number 30, which is where the Arizona Diamondbacks are.
Well, the numbers for this spring are definitely more promising than being down around number 30, that's for sure.
Gives you something to build on, doesn't it? All right, we're ready to go. Desmond Jennings, a real speedster. Reynolds moves in at third base, and he shows bunt, and will take that for a strike. Jennings is making the start in center field. Tampa Bay's going to have to make some adjustments. Their spring training roster has been in a state of flux for the last couple of days. That pitch will be in there for a strike from Chen. B.J. Upton and Sam Fold are injured and are not going to be available. So Joe Madden said this morning when I talked with him, we've got some decisions to make, and we're doing a lot of talking about it in the organization as to who's going to fill those spots. And the pitch will miss outside by Chen, and the count will go to 1 ball and 2 strikes. So there's the Orioles' hope coming over from the Japanese Central League, where he has pitched for the last 4 years. And that will be hit by Jennings to center. Jones going back. Wind is blowing out and towards left field. Jones has got it. Mike, let's take a look at the D.
Well, all right. Endy Chavez is starting in left field. Adam Jones in center. Nick Markakis over there in right field again. Mark Reynolds at third. J.J. Hardy at short. Robert Andino at second base. Chris Davis at first. And Matt Reeder's doing the catching.
And that will bring up the returning Ray as Carlos Pena will stand in. Pena brings his power back to the ball club where he had starred previously. He's only had 1 home run, couple of RBIs, and only 6 hits in 48 at-bats during the spring. He'll go after Chen's first pitch and pop it up to shallow center field. Andino says, I've got it. And there are a couple of quick outs. Boy, this is something the Oriole pitchers, even though the ERA may be good as a group, getting first pitch strikes and going through innings quickly has been a real problem for a lot of the Oriole starters this spring.
Oh, you're right. You know, and a lot of these guys have been working on that this spring. I think they've really taken note and learned from their experiences. Hopefully some of the younger guys have from last year. And to be able to work through and maybe get into the 7th, 8th inning as a starter would help us out, or help the Orioles out tremendously.
Boy, would it ever with the bullpen in a state of flux. Not that it's not going to be good for the Orioles, but like Showalter has said, we've got to have starters taking us into the 6th and 7th innings, preferably, obviously, into the 7th. Here's Evan Longoria, the third baseman. Buck Showalter and company will be making final decisions here this week. The Orioles are on the so-called 4th day, opening day. That's to third, and that's by Reynolds. Endy Chavez is playing in left field. Longoria is going to go into second base, and he's got himself a stand-up double.
Looks like he tried to throw a fastball in, and Longoria is a great hitter. If you leave anything on the plate, he's going to put the good part of the bat on it. Reynolds made a great effort though for that ball. He's been working really hard, Mark down there at the corner, on just getting his feet active, trying to get himself in better position a little bit sooner, and he had a great jump on that ball.
Well, Longoria gets his third double of the spring, hitting .231, putting a runner in scoring position with 2 down. And here is Jeff Keppinger. Keppinger with the RBI opportunity. Longoria big lead at second base, and Chen will get it in there for a strike. Longoria, of course, the cornerstone of the team. Keppinger, one of those players we were talking about on this roster, where he fits in and how. Designated hitter in the ball game today, and he will foul that one back. And Chen ahead on the count, 2 strikes. When Chen is on, he moves the ball around really well, and will locate. That's the name of the game for him. Pitch ahead of hitters, that he always did in the Japanese league, and over the last 4 years kept an ERA under 3 against some pretty good hitters. He had Keppinger fooled on that one, who had to go up and try and foul it away as he did to keep his at-bat alive.
His fastball, he's got an above average fastball for sure. And if he can locate that, I think that's a key with most starting pitching. If they can locate their fastball, they're going to have success, because he's got a plus changeup as well, and occasionally a plus slider.
Here's the 0-2 delivery, gets it in the gap, right center field. That's going to get a run in. Jones has got to chase it down. Longoria will score. Throw to second. Not in time. RBI double for Keppinger. Tampa Bay 1-0.
It looked like the pitch before that, he threw a fastball, and it looked like Keppinger was a little late. This one caught a little bit more of the plate, and he was able to get the good part of the bat on it, put in the gap.
So a 2-out RBI off Chen. Keppinger will pick it up, and that will bring up Sean Rodriguez. Rodriguez making the start at shortstop in today's game, hitting .244 this spring. He's had no home runs and an RBI, a couple of doubles. And the pitch is taken for a strike. For Chen, he has worked this spring against the Yankees, Minnesota, and Pittsburgh twice. This is his first outing against Tampa Bay. And the 2-0 record, 17 2/3 innings. He's given up a hit an inning. That one popped up towards first base. Davis and Dino. Davis has to come way over with that wind blowing it, and will put it away. So a run on a couple of hits with 1 left on. When we come back to Sarasota, we'll take a look at the lineup for the Orioles. Obviously, where we are in spring training, the lineups you're seeing today include the players who are, for the most part, going to be included in the opening day starting lineup for each of these teams. For the Orioles, Chavez is going to get the start in left. Hardy, Markakis, Jones, Wieters, Johnson, Reynolds, Davis, and Andino. For Adam Jones, he's had an outstanding spring. The 4 home runs leads the Orioles, and he leads the team in hits this spring. He
is having a great spring. You know, he's really maturing as well. James Shields is going to be our starting pitcher for Tampa Bay today. He's got 3+ pitches, and he is a workhorse. 249 innings pitched last season. I think he was second in the league behind Verlander, and he's got great command. He had an exceptional year last year and really leads the way for this team.
He was saying today all he wants to do is get through this outing. And you can understand that. Final tune-up, don't get hurt. Just leave everything here, right where we are. I'm fine, I'm ready to go. So he just wants to throw his 60 pitches or so and be gone.
Right, yeah, just about everybody out here, you know, they're winding down. The end of spring training is upon us.
Shields, Endy Chavez, and Chavez will take the pitch down low. Chavez making the start in left field. It certainly still looks as though Nolan Reynolds is scheduled to be the starting left fielder on a more or less regular basis, but Chavez is going to get some playing time. I mean, he's going to make the ball club, barring a trade or something, and Chavez will work off the bench as the backup outfielder, but also may get some, depending on how it's going and who's pitching, may get time in left field.
He's earned an opportunity to be out there playing, that's for sure. He's had a great spring, and 485. Playing great defense as well.
And some speed.
Sure.
That he brings to the lineup that Nolan does not have, even though somewhat surprisingly Nolan Reynolds leads the team in stolen bases this spring with 3. Not the name you might have picked in that department. He'll take that pitch. It is in there for a strike. Shields just working on his changeup. That's been the thing this spring that he spent a lot of time on. He's turned 30 years old. He'll be the old veteran on this staff. 3-1 delivery. Chavez will take the strike on the outside corner. Between innings, I was talking to Mike about a number I cannot believe. For the last 764 Rays games, 764, every starting pitcher has been under 30. That is just unbelievable. That will be handled by Johnson. Chavez is retired.
Yeah, that's a pretty amazing stat right there.
Chavez will, Shields will break that when he starts this year, as he is 30 years old. That is a major league record. The most starts in succession by starters under the age of 30 for any team.
And it looks like this staff's going to be together for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be one of the most dominant staffs in baseball.
And they've gone about it in a way where they sign up their guys early and try and get them before their options come and their free agency comes. Towering fly ball left field. J.J. Hardy's done it again. Goodbye. Home run off the palm tree at the adult beverage court.
Is that J.J.'s first home run in the spring?
Hardy picks up number 2.
Oh, number 2. I guess I should have known that.
Ties the game.
I think if there is a knock on Shields, he does give up the home run on occasion.
Hardy is amazing to me. The power he shows. I mean, when you look at him, you just would not think he would be that kind of a power hitter. But you get one anywhere in that wheelhouse, and it's gone.
Oh, he gets extended, and he's got as good as power as anybody. I mean, 30 home runs last year. Yeah, that fastball is a center cut, and he puts a great swing on it.
Here's Nick Markakis, and Nick, the slow roller, hit his foot.
That's good to see J.J. doing that, though, because, you know, last week his arm kind of was bothering him a little bit. He had to sit out of batting practice for a couple days, and I think that aggressive swing right there shows that he's definitely feeling a lot better.
And that's the reason the Orioles took it so slow with him and let him really have a day or two more than he might have had otherwise. Huh?
Right.
You don't want to rush it in spring training when you get somebody who's just a minor injury and you can hang on for a couple of days. Markakis with the 0-2 delivery, 1 down, and Shields with the fastball. That is going to miss up high.
Well, I think Shields' thinking kind of sums up like every manager's thinking as well. Let's just get out of here healthy,
yeah,
and start the season.
That's the name of the game right now. Shields will miss outside with that, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count with 1 down. For Nick Markakis, the spring, of course, shortened as he came back from the abdominal surgery, hitting .238. He's only had 21 at-bats, and he'll foul that one off. You compare that with the leaders in the Orioles in at-bats. Wilson Betemit has had 56. So has Chris Davis. And so has Nolan Reynolds. And what those at-bats indicate, those are the players that the team, Buck Showalter management, really wanted to see get a lot of at-bats and take a long look at. Nick, because of the recovery period, missed the first couple of weeks of steady play. So he's really just getting into game condition now as far as his swing's concerned. That'll be scooped at the plate, and the count goes to 3-2. So it'll look like this for the Orioles, we think. Chavez or Reynolds, then Hardy, Markakis, and Jones, Wieters, Reynolds. Betemit and Johnson for the DH. It certainly looks as though Nick Johnson is going to make the team. Chris Davis and then Robert Andino batting ninth and playing at second base. And that one's towards second base. BRIGNAC. 2 down.
Rays defense, we've got Joyce in left field, Jennings in center field, Johnson over in right, Longoria at third base, Rodriguez at shortstop, BRIGNAC at second base, Carlos Pena at first base, and Molina doing the catching.
We're talking about team numbers this spring. It has been a tough one offensively for the Rays. They are the bottom of the pile as far as team batting average is concerned. Joe Madden was talking about that this morning. He said, I'm not worried about it. He said, we are a team that has to catch the ball and pitch. If we do that, we'll win. And that is exactly what they did last year. They were 13th in average and 8th in runs in the American League, but second best ERA and the best defense. Longoria, and he got it. So the Orioles have tied it up here in the first inning and run on a hit with nobody left on base. J.J. Hardy got it done. Swing of the bat. His second spring training dinger. 1-1 game. Well, opening day is coming up on Friday, and the only way to get tickets is by becoming an Orioles partial season plan holder. For as low as $159, you'll enjoy a huge list of exclusive orange carpet benefits, special promotions during the 20th anniversary of the park, and some moments you won't forget in regard to that anniversary. All you got to do is call 888-848-BIRD or go to Orioles.com/season for complete details. Still, the starter's not been announced for the Orioles, although it certainly looks like Arrieta's going to be the one, but for whatever reason, Buck Showalter has chosen not to say that.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of things up in the air right now. And potentially, if you look at how spring training has worked out and we've gotten to this point, there's 4 guys that could potentially start opening day for the Orioles. Just how it, the pitching innings and everything's, kind of worked its way out. But You know, there's still some question marks, and it kind of makes me want to think that there may be some moves.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mike. I think that's Molina's going to go to right field. It's an atom ball, though. Markakis gets it. Molina, the catcher's retired. Yeah, I think that's exactly what's going on. They've talked about wanting to make some kind of moves. I think they'd really like to get another backup catcher, at least one they could put in the minor leagues and have available. And is there another starter? I mean, almost impossible to find starters, and they've got a couple of DHs here. I mean, the Johnson and Betemeet, really, they're both going to make the team if they're here by the looks of it. Does that fit? I mean, does that work?
Well, I like those two guys on the team. I think only because of the versatility of Betemeet. You know, you can play him anywhere on the field.
Joyce. Joyce getting the start in left field in the ball game today. And that one is going to be taken down low. Luke Scott, the former Oriole, of course, now with Tampa Bay, is not here today, but he's had a very good spring for them. And I was really surprised this morning talking to Joe Madden. He thinks Luke Scott's going to bat second, and Luke Scott wants to. Here's the 1-1, and Chen will miss down low with that, and the count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. So that's part of the discussion Madden's having with the front office as far as his players and where he's going to use them. Here's the 2-1 delivery and a shattered bat. Andino. We were talking about the Orioles and their position players. Here's what it looks like. Teagarden is on the DL. Paulino is the backup. Davis, Andino, Reynolds, Hardy will start. The outfield, Reynolds, Jones, and Markakis. Bench players, you got to have 4. Betemeet with the contract's got to be there. Chavez certainly's made it. Ryan Flaherty's going to make it. I think Nick Johnson make it, and it looks like Jay Miller's probably the player on the out.
That's the way it looks. You know, even though Jay Miller last year, his numbers in AAA hit 30 plus home runs in AAA with Sacramento. I'll tell you what, if you send a guy like him down to AAA, or if he clears waivers and makes it to our AAA club, what a great insurance policy, you know.
And you've got to have that.
You sure do.
All fans know.
That's one of the real positive things about this camp. We've had so many good players come in: Tollison, Antonelli, you know, Beer, one of the Scott Beer, and Jay Miller. Just creates organizational depth.
Something the Orioles have not had a great deal of over the last decade. This is Elliot Johnson. Johnson, a switch hitter. Last year played 70 games with Tampa Bay, hit 194, spent the rest playing for the Durham Bulls at AAA. He has only played in 77 major league games. And Johnson getting the start in this game in right field. Chen working quickly, 3-1. And so far here, just early in the game, you're seeing the reason the Orioles like Chen so much. He's throwing first pitch strikes. He works quickly, and he tends to get through the innings relatively in a hurry.
Yeah, he has great composure. I'll tell you that. That's one of the things I'm so impressed with. You know, he isn't phased about coming over here. Of course, the bright lights aren't on yet.
Yeah.
So you never know. Going to Yankee Stadium or Fenway Park, it's a different animal there, but he seems like he's got great composure. He's obviously had so much success over there in Japan, so we're excited to have him.
Taking a look at his career numbers in Japan are 36 wins, 30 losses. He pitched in a total of 117 games, 88 of those as a starter. And he had an enormous strikeout ratio of almost, it's 4.5 to 1.
Yeah, walks. Very impressive, huh?
500 strikeouts, 153 walks in those 4 seasons in Japan. And as I mentioned, the 4 consecutive years in which his ERA was under 3. Here is Reid Brignac with 2 down and a runner on at first base. Brignac shows bunt. Brignac, his position not yet decided on this team. He'll be on it. Joe Madden said today he's continued to shuffle Sean Rodriguez and Reid Brignac between short and second, and has not made a decision yet on who's going to play where, and said in all likelihood we're going to look at who we're playing. He said right now we're sitting down and looking at the first month of the season and looking who we're going to be opposing, both team wise and pitcher wise, and that may decide who plays and where they play. Showed bunt again. Reynolds moving in from third, takes it, 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's pretty interesting. You don't really, see that done very often. I mean, a tribute to those guys, though, to be able to go back and forth from second and short.
And they have done that most of this spring. BRIGNAC playing at second, can also play in the outfield and will this year. Nice strike. Chen got that one on the outside corner and goes ahead on the count of ball and 2 strikes.
With today's video and the technology, the scouting reports and stuff, I mean, obviously other teams have already seen videos of Chen and what he can do and the different pitches and his pickoff moves and things like that. But until teams face him, they're not going to have a real understanding of exactly what he throws. They can look at it on video, but there's some, so if you look at it, we may be able to obviously surprise attack some teams that don't know some of our pitchers. Hamill was over in the National League for a while.
Go to first, Wieters. Johnson back.
Nobody really knows Chen.
I mean, even Jake Arrieta hasn't been around long enough for a lot of hitters to have really gotten much information from at-bats against him.
Right.
BRIGNAC with a 3-ball, 2-strike count, 2 down. Davis will move behind the runner at first base. Johnson will be going here. BRIGNAC, the number 9 hitter, 3-2. MARKAKIS. High sky, lots of glare. He's got it in the shadow of the lights. And that will do it. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. Orioles coming up. Jones, Wieters, and Johnson. Bill Castro is one of the new additions to the Orioles coaching staff. He'd been in the Brewers organization for 37 years, including 2009 pitching coach, most recently the Latin American pitching advisor for the Brewers, and Bill now the bullpen coach for the Orioles. Bill, first of all, thanks for taking time to join us. Great to have you with us.
Oh, thank you for having me on.
Bill,
pleasure to be here.
Talk about what the job of the bullpen coach is in the course of a game for our fans, would you?
Well, it's a lot more than the people think you have to do down here. People sometimes think that you just got to answer the phone here or catch the guys in the bullpen. It's more than that more detail you got to put into this job over here. You have to still coach the guys sometimes down in the bullpen here when they get a whack and then getting back on track, and give it information what's going on, how we're going to approach the hitters, and when they come up and situations like that, and make sure that everything is everybody on the same page.
Bill, I just want to let everybody know that you celebrated a birthday a couple days ago.
Oh,
yeah. So happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Hey, I saw you have a little reunion yesterday out on the backfield with a couple former Milwaukee Brewers. B.J. Surhoff was back there, and Dan Plesac.
Yeah, it's bringing back some good memories of those guys who were together in Milwaukee, especially with Zach. Zach is a pretty funny guy. I can see how he's doing a good job with there on TV because he used to do that during the game over there anywhere in the bullpen.
Right. Yeah.
That's a good way to start, I guess.
Yeah. He was always a guy that always had something to say about the game. I mean, he'll always put attention to detail and everything. And I'm glad to see him doing well. I told him the other day that I was proud of him because what he's doing a good job.
For you. Bill, how much contact? I would assume you have most of your discussions with a pitching coach. I mean, both before, during, and after games.
Yes, Rick and I keep in touch, communicating with each other, and especially in my case, but I don't know a lot of the guys over here. And as the time got going on in spring training, I got to know some of the guys, and as time goes on more, I get to know a little better more about them. And right now, the bullpen is kind of going to be tough. The decisions that have to be made down the next couple of days over here, and a lot of guys to pick from.
Here is Nick Johnson after the strikeout by Shields on Waiters, and Johnson will take it for his strike. He is the designated hitter in our ball game today.
Hey, Bill, do you get to make any of the, or are you part of some of those decisions? Because you're down there every day with this bullpen.
Well, I can only go by what, the track record and what I see over here. And I think every coach gets involved in the situation and the decision making. They ask your opinion, and then you got to give your opinion on whatever opinion you give, and they're going to listen to it and analyze it and go with whatever is best for the club.
There you see, we're showing the folks on our screen here, Bill, the bullpen. Ayala, Gregg, Johnson, Lidstrom look like they're in. Troy Patton's out of options. Zach Phillips has pitched very well. Simone's apparently been put on waivers, and he goes against the shift and gets the base hit. So Nick Johnson continues an amazing spring, and one of the players, it looks like he has made this ball club, can play at first base, but most likely will be sharing DH duties with Betemeet this season for the Orioles. Bill, is there I'm not asking you, obviously you can't name names or anything, but is a big part of this decision on the bullpen going to be left-handed, right-handed decisions?
To tell you the truth right now, we will know the next couple of days and see how we're going to shake up.
Now, there's a coach who knows his place right there, didn't he?
That's right.
Is that a good short answer?
But he knows you need some left-handers out there out of that bullpen, too.
Yeah.
Bill, thanks very much. We look forward to spending the season with you. We really love having you here with the Orioles, and thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Great having you. That's the new bullpen coach for the Orioles after a long 37 seasons with the Milwaukee Brewers, Bill Castro. That was one of the great Hemingway answers of all time, a simple, complete sentence that had a noun and a verb and a period. Here is Mark Reynolds. Reynolds getting the start, of course, at third base. Runner first, one down against Shields. He popped that one up. That's a silo shot at the plate. Molina with the glasses on. Fair territory. Like the flying Wallendas, it's the catching Molinas.
Yeah. There's a bunch of them, aren't there?
Yeah. They're all pretty good.
Oh, really good.
Molina will be behind the plate for this team this year, Tampa Bay. He'll have the honor, if you will, of catching maybe the best starting staff in all of baseball.
Right.
Here is Chris Davis.
He's a good one to do it.
He can be made to look like a truly great catcher by this stuff.
You're right.
Not that he won't help, because he will. Short lead at first base for Johnson. Fouled off. You don't want to wander very far off the bag when Shields is pitching. He led the league last year in pickoffs. He's just sensational. He's got a move that absolutely freezes runners. And no matter how many times you see him, it doesn't seem to matter. He still picks people off. Last year, 13. Swung out and missed. Molina's able to keep it out in front of him.
Yeah, he has an interesting, well, he's got a great delivery, but actually when he takes his sign, he gets down really low and kind of looks over at first base like Mike Buccini used to do. And kind of freezes runners for a second. He can pick off at any point as he's working his way back up. So that's kind of what keeps guys on their toes.
Right there is what Mike's talking about. 0-2 delivery, swung out and missed. Shields will get Davis. That is his second strikeout. The Orioles, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base. Our spring game in Sarasota, 1-1 after 2. I want to remind you, at 6 special games this season, the O's are going to celebrate the 6 greatest birds of all time: Frank Robinson, Brooks Robinson, Jim Palmer, Earl Weaver, Eddie Murray, and Cal. And when you purchase the Orioles Legends Celebration Series package, you'll receive a ticket to each of the games, and these larger-than-life bronze sculptures will be unveiled. It'll be a great time. All you got to do is call 888-848-BIRD to go to Orioles.com/legends. Minnesota will be the team the Orioles face Friday, 3 o'clock. Game sold out. 3-game set. We'll open up the regular season for the O's. And then the Orioles will be underway in what I referred to as the 4th opening day. We've had one in Japan already. There'll be another opening day Wednesday, another opening day Thursday, and the rest of the teams will open up on Friday, including the Orioles. And the Yankees will be in on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 9, 10, and 11. For the 3-game set to round out the first homestand. Chen on the mound, a 1-0 count. Desmond Jennings, their leadoff batter, flied out to center his first time up.
I like those pictures of the Hall of Famers there, but I'll tell you this: if Eddie goes in with that kind of hairdo, they're going to have to use a lot of bronze, a lot more bronze statue on it. Eddie, that's some good moss.
You think Eddie can grow it out that way again? Can he still do that? You think so?
Why not?
There's a challenge, Eddie. That one is high and deep and gone. As Desmond Jennings rocks it, and goodbye home run. No question about that one. Tampa Bay back on top, 2-1. His first of the spring and just his second RBI.
It's kind of funny, you see guys hit balls like that and you expect them to hit more home runs. And that ball's just up in the zone. So he got to it quick, kind of gator armed it, but got the barrel on. Put the good part of the bat on the ball. With that wind blowing out like that, that ball went a long way.
The second home run surrendered by Chen on the season. He has walked just 9, struck out 2 coming into the game. He has walked a batter in this game. Carlos Pena popped out to second base his first time up. Shift is on. The complete shift against Pena in the infield as Hardy's over on the second base side of the bag. Andino in shallow right. Reynolds, after Pena showed bunt, Reynolds moves in from the deep shortstop position he was playing. The Orioles third baseman now kind of in between second and third and 3 steps off the grass. Pena, 1-0 pitch. Markakis. First out of the inning. And the Orioles this past week, Chris Tillman, of course, was optioned to AAA Norfolk. he is one of those depth players Mike was talking about. He's going to be stretched back out to be a starter, according to Buck Showalter. And if the need be, they hope he'll be ready in a hurry at AAA if they need to have somebody else in that starting rotation.
Yeah, he had a good spring, too. I mean, like you had talked about, most of the pitchers here in camp have done a really nice job. And there were some times this spring where Chris was hitting, 95, 96 miles an hour with some movement.
It's a matter now of converting him back to a starter, right? Getting him back into that.
Well, I think initially the thought was starting, and then they worked him out of the pen. And the first time he came out of the bullpen, he touched 97. So they thought, hey, this might be a great long guy. And he did it a couple times. But, yeah, I think they're going to get him back out there as a starter. And you can always be the long man out of the pen if you need to.
Right now in the battle for the bullpen spots, there really is not a long man.
Well, that's a concern. I mean, there are a couple guys that might be able to give you 2 or 3 innings. Patton could give you, a couple innings, and then Ayala can give you a couple innings. But there is some concern there about a long man. If by some chance somebody gets knocked out in the first or second inning,
may have to piece it together, unless, of course, there's a change in personnel. Hardy makes the play on Longoria, who had doubled and scored his first time up. 2 down.
Yeah, I think right now we just hope nobody gets knocked out in the first or second inning. I think last year we saw that a couple times, and unfortunately it kind of just destroys your bullpen. If you have to do that too often.
Yeah, that's been a problem for the Orioles the last few years, as by the time you get to the end of June, 1st of July, or the All-Star break, the bullpen is eaten up. They've had to work so many innings.
Right.
Here is Jeff Keppinger. The designated hitter will take the pitch down low for a ball. Keppinger, the RBI in the first inning. He picked up a double and brought home Longoria. Chen with a 1-0 count. And the lefty will come inside to him. Keppinger is a veteran, 31 years old coming into the season. He's been around with the Mets, Kansas City, Cincinnati, Houston. Last year in San Francisco and Houston. Split time, played actually last year in 4 different cities. That one is going to be popped up shallow center. Andino's back, and he's got it. So the home run by Jennings led the inning off. A run on a hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. Tampa Bay back on top by 1. Pick up your copy of the Orioles publication starting Friday as Orioles Kids features puzzles, games for fans 14 and under. Orioles Magazine features Q&As and inside information on all your favorite past, current, and future O's. The O's Kids Magazine, only $3. Orioles Magazine, just $5. And both will be available at the ballpark starting opening day. O's Magazine, also available by subscription at Orioles.com. Gary Thorne, Mike Borda, great to have you with us here in Sarasota. As the Orioles will be heading home for the Friday opener. Andino will foul that one away. Steve Shields on the mound for the Tampa Bay Rays today. And Robert Andino getting ready to start at second base. Ryan Roberts, of course, continues to work out with the team, but nowhere near ready to go into game action. 0-1 breaking ball is going to miss away. Andino, 296 with a home run, 8 RBIs, and 4 doubles this spring.
He's having a great spring. You know, it's kind of funny. He had a really good year last year. He proved that he could play up there, played every day.
In the air to right, not deep. Johnson under.
You know, he moved around. He's comfortable. He got comfortable, and he came into spring training, you know, understanding that second base was going to be his spot, and he's really had a good spring. He's worked hard. He's done a great job.
Ryan Roberts, we told you on our last broadcast a week ago the decision had not been made as to whether they were going to leave him down here for extended spring or whether he would travel with the ball club and go to Baltimore. That decision was made this week. He will go with the team to Baltimore. Said he was just tired of not being with his teammates and with the ball club and really wanted to work that way. So he'll be around the Orioles and continue his progress coming off the concussion problems.
That's a great step in the right direction for B-Rob, to go up there and be around the team, be part of the team. We could tell how miserable he was last year, obviously with dealing with the concussion, but not being around his teammates and how hard that was for him.
How about the beard?
Yeah, he's got to shave that.
He's got a beard. He looks like a hockey player during the playoffs.
He's not allowed to have a beard. I'm going to talk to him tomorrow.
Here's the 1-1 delivery on the way, and Chavez will foul it off. He grew it in a hurry, though. He's pretty good at growing a beard because that thing came out quickly.
Yeah, well, he's an old man. He's like one of the oldest guys on the team now. And if you look closely, there's some gray in there, too. I give him a hard time about that.
That's why I'd shave it then. 1 ball, 2 strike count on Chavez. Shields, the 16-game winner last year, 2.82 ERA, third in the Cy Young Award voting. His fastball will miss down low. We've seen a lot of breaking balls and off-speed pitches. That's because that's what he's working on. That's what he's trying to get under control to go into the repertoire. Here's the 2-2 inside corner, and that'll be Shields' third strikeout.
Well, that was a fastball in, but I'll tell you what makes him so effective is that changeup. He throws it to both lefties and righties, anytime. He's just, you look over his stats, and I know we've been pointing them out, but this is what a big league pitcher is supposed to look like. I mean, for the last 5 years, he's thrown over 200 innings. He's had over 150 strikeouts for over the last 5 years. His ERA dropped from 5 to 2.82. 5.18 in 2010 to 2.82 last year. Yeah, that's some good stuff.
That's some good stuff. Yep. And he throws only 14 pitches per inning. That's the fewest in the majors last year in order to get a side out. And that drop in ERA was the 3rd largest drop in division history from 1 year to the next in ERA.
Well, I think he's got that old school mentality. Now here's JJ's second home run of the spring. And all spring he's kind of been talking about just trying to get that rhythm and the timing back, just like all hitters go through in spring training. And boy, it was nice. He was right on time there, and that's got to give him a great feeling here in the closing days of spring training to start the season.
He'll be in that number 2 spot for the Orioles. Great slugging percentage that he had last year. Shields gets it into him, and it's fouled right straight back. A couple of notes in the division today. The Red Sox announced Felix Dubron and Daniel Bard have both made the rotation. So they've set their rotation. Those are going to be 4 and 5. Hardy and a strike. Boy, Shields starting to paint now. The Orioles not so sure about the last 2 calls, but he gets 2 called third strikes here in the 3rd inning. 3 up and 3 down. 3 complete. 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Rays. A run, 2 hits, no errors for the Orioles. Well, you go into every season, you hope you don't have the injuries right at the very beginning, but there have been some key ones so far. Zach Britton, of course, for the Orioles with that shoulder problem. Ryan Roberts continues battling the concussion problems. The closer, Andrew Bailey's got a thumb problem for Boston. We'll see about that. Kyle Crawford with the wrist, not going to be ready to go. They hope a couple of weeks in he'll be ready. Jabba Chamberlain's got that ankle. Maybe one of the biggest is that Pineda, now the starter for the Yankees, just acquired in the offseason. He's got a shoulder problem. He's on the DL. And both Sam Fold and B.J. Upton, who would have been playing a lot for Tampa Bay, have injuries and will not be making the opening day roster.
Yeah, those are some pretty crucial injuries to some, top teams. Obviously, we're going to be missing Zach Britton, and if he was out here today, that would add more drama to our starting pitching situation, but it'd be great to have him as part of it.
Here is Sean Rodriguez, popped out his first time up playing at short. Chen gets the swinging strike. No one walk, no strikeouts for WEIYIN Chen so far in the ball game, and he's been throwing strikes and getting ahead of the hitters. As we go to the fourth inning, Rodriguez, Molina, and Joyce. According to Yankee manager Joe Girardi, now his starting five will be Sabathia for the opener, Kuroda for the second, and Phil Hughes. They'll be pitching against Tampa Bay. Then Ivan Nova and Freddie Garcia will be 4 and 5 for the Yankees. Right off the end of the bat, a cue shot, and Dino makes the play. Our next telecast comes to you opening day, Camden Yards. You can join us Friday. The celebration to start the 2012 season. Our coverage on Masson at 2 o'clock. A special 1-hour version of O's Extra with Jim Hunter and Rick Dempsey. Mike Bordick, Jim Palmer, and myself will be there to bring you the game against the Minnesota Twins. O's and Twins. That's going to be at 3 o'clock. All the access you need right here on Masson. Here's Molina. Molina flied out to right his first time up, and that is a swinging strike. The Orioles last year, if I remember right, that first month was just loaded with division games. This year, the Orioles are the team with the fewer division games. Punched hard to right field by Molina. Markakis watching. It'll take a hop and a ground rule double.
Pretty good bit of hitting right there by Molina. Like that was a fastball away, stayed on it, and drove it to right. Up and away. Good job of hitting, but I'd like to see that ball down in the zone. Weeder's target was down, so obviously Matt wanted it in that spot as well.
Got it up a little bit, and he took advantage of it. One down runner at second base. Here's Joyce. 4 hits on the board now for the Rays. Joyce grounded out his first time up. Joyce got to play the infield as an outfielder here in spring training as Joe Madden made use of his 5-man infield in the 9th inning of a ball game on Thursday. He brought Joyce in, and with runners on, they had runners. Phillies had runners first and third, 1 out. And Madden said, hey, I might as well try this. And so he made the 5-man infield, bringing Joyce in from left field. It didn't work. Hector Luna had an opposite field single down the first base side. And Madden's response after the game was, we needed 6 guys. He's going to do that in certain situations. He says during games he's going to use a 5-man infield where he feels it's appropriate.
Sure. Well, he's creative. He takes chances, and he's been successful.
Yeah, they have done that. 2 ball, 1 strikeout on Joyce. Molina off second base. And that pitch will miss, not by much. A little bit low, maybe away, and a 3 ball, 1 strike count. '26-year-old left-hander for the Orioles, tuning up for the regular season. And will miss inside. Second walk, he surrendered. 2 on, 1 down. Coach Showalter, in order to keep his starters away from division teams, has thrown a number of them in games at the minor league inter-squad play, and that's happening again today. Tommy Hunter, the right-hander, is pitching today inter-squad game at Twin Lakes Park for a tune-up. Most of the managers around baseball really do try and keep their starters away from division opponents in spring training games as much as they can. Whether that is a favorable result or not, you can argue about.
Yeah, you can look at it from both sides. Obviously, CHEN hasn't faced anybody in our division, so why not try to get familiar with him as soon as he can? But then also we're tipping our hat on what he throws and what his tendencies are out there on the mound. So
2-strike count on Johnson, who turned around and questioned the last call. Quinn Walcott is the home plate umpire in our game today. 1 away, 2 on. The 0-2 delivery. That's going to get a short. Hardy trying to get one. It'll be an error. That should have ended the inning. Instead, the bases are loaded with 1 out.
Yeah, ball kind of came up. Just the transfer. JJ couldn't get a grip on the transfer. Hey, I know things happen really fast out there, but he had Molina in front of him. He still had time to throw over to third base and get Molina.
So the Orioles put Chen in a tough spot right here. The base is loaded and only 1 away. And here's Brignac. Brignac flied to right. Pops it up. Infield fly rule in effect. And as Davis makes the catch, there's a big second out.
Yeah, that was big. After not converting that double play opportunity, to get that pop up is huge. But the Orioles really have to play clean, sound baseball this summer if they want to have success. And you just cannot give big teams like the Rays, anybody in the East really extra opportunities. Anybody in Major League Baseball any opportunities, because generally they take advantage of that.
Yeah. Well, that's where we were talking about Tampa Bay and how they win. I mean, last year 91-76, second in the division, 6 games behind the Yankees. They did it on their great pitching, the second best ERA, and the #1 defense in the American League as far as fielding percentage and fewest errors is concerned. Desmond Jennings, a home run in the 3rd inning, his first of the spring. He's flied out as well, the leadoff batter. Still the bases are loaded, 2 down. Chen trying to work out of it and pick up his teammate at short. And a real nice pitch that'll catch the outside corner. He does look confident this spring, I thought, in the times I've seen him pitch.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. He has great composure. He's a very confident kid, and he works really hard.
Head on the count here, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Pretty good pitch right there.
It's where the batter does not turn around to look at the umpire.
Yeah, right. He just closes his eyes and hope he says ball.
The count goes to 2-1. Yeah, that was a close pitch. Outfield deep on Jennings. Molina, Joyce, and Johnson are on base. 2-1. 2 ball, 2 strike count.
Nice pitch. I'll tell you what, I mean, he's throwing this fastball right around 91, 92 miles an hour. He's having success when he locates it right there. He threw a fastball in and spotted a fastball away. But it looks like, some of these swings, he's got sneaky quickness, I mean, it's not a Verlander fastball or Jake Arrieta type fastball. But it looks like it gets up on these guys pretty quick. I mean, they've had a couple good swings, but some of them have been late. A little bit tardy in that.
Yep. He evens the count here, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jennings averaged about the same against lefties righties last year. 256 off the lefties, 260 off right-handers for Desmond Jennings. He had 10 home runs last season, 1 this spring so far, and maybe another one. Way back in left, and the grand salami goodbye home run. 2-homer, 5 RBI day in 3 at-bats for Desmond Jennings.
Well, he's kind of fallen all over this fastball a little bit, and he tried to sneak this one in, and it didn't get in enough, obviously. It kind of stayed middle of the plate. And, boy, he put another good swing on a fastball.
And nobody feels worse about that than J.J. Hardy on an inning that should have ended on a ground ball double play that resulted in an error with nobody out on the play. Tampa Bay's taking advantage of it. Chopper down to first base by Pena to be played by Davis to the bag, and that will do it. But 2 out runs coming for Tampa Bay in this one, including a grand slam. And the Rays take a 6-1 lead. Rays on top, 6-1, and we're joined by one of the new members of the Orioles, 30-year-old Jason Hamill, last year with Colorado, acquired in the deal along with Matt Lidstrom for the Orioles in exchange for Jeremy Guthrie. Jason with us here is going to be part of that starting rotation for the O's. Jason, first of all, welcome. Thanks for taking time to join us. Appreciate it. For Oriole fans, can you give us a little description of how you would describe yourself as a pitcher? What are you looking to do? What do you throw?
First of all, I'm 29.
Oh, 29.
I'm not quite 30 yet.
Okay, that'll be September. You're right.
I'm trying to hold on to it as long as I can.
Good man.
Describe myself, the basic 4 pitches. I just started throwing my sinker again. So that's going to open up a lot of doors. But I'm a command guy. I'm not going to try and blow guys away. I look for contact and just work on good execution.
Hey, this is Mike Bordick. How you doing, Jason?
Hey, Bordick.
Hey, how have you found the adjustment coming back over? I know you started off in Tampa, you went over to Colorado, the National League, and now you're back in the American League. Are you concerned, or are you doing some homework on some guys, or it's not going to be any adjustment?
No, I hope I wouldn't be concerned, because that's not the place to be. And you don't want to be concerned if you're in the AL East. This is obviously the best division in baseball. But I see some familiar faces even today. Obviously the Rays, I came up with them. Yeah, just going to take a little time to learn the hitters again after seeing them. I'm not seeing them for a little while. But it's exciting. You know, it's going to be a good challenge, and the guys here have welcomed me with open arms, so that makes my transition a little bit easier.
How about what you've worked on primarily this spring, Jason?
Fastball command. Last year at the end of the year, I got some things figured out between the years, which I think is a lot of the problem for a lot of guys that are still trying to establish themselves. It took me 4 years of getting my head knocked in by major league hitters before I decided to figure something out in the head. So I've been working on just my mental approach and focus on the mound, and just being consistent with my fastball. So I'm very pleased with where I'm at right now.
That's good stuff.
What does that mean, Jason? That getting your head on straight and you know, trouble between the ears. I mean, how do we see that as fans on the mound when that's happening to a pitcher?
You know, I think it's. I mean, you can see it some ways with the way guys carry themselves, but for myself, it was just focus. I think my mind was all over the place. I was pitching to not make mistakes instead of pitching to be successful. A lot of things I was doing was I was pitching to the hitter instead of pitching to the glove. You know, I was worried about what they were going to do instead of what I needed to be doing. So I finally figured that out. It took me a long time, a lot longer than I was hoping to. But you know, I've definitely I feel like I'm reaping the benefits right now.
Are you sharing a lot of that information with some of our other starters?
You know, I would love to help out. You know, I'm still learning the game, but the guys here are going through the same thing, and I think a lot of them took their lumps last year. And you know, there was also some success last year I saw. But you know, I would love to help out anybody because it's an eye opener and a real confidence booster. Once you can't really say you've ever figured the game out. But, you know, when you feel like you're confident in everything you can do, it's a whole new monster when you go out there on the mound.
Well, 29-year-old Jason Hamill, thanks very much for coming with us. We really look forward to the season. We wish you all the best of luck, and we'll be visiting with you, I'm sure, often as we go along. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, you bet. Jason Hamill will be in that starting rotation for the Orioles, and the Orioles really are counting on him to be a solid inning eater starter this season for the O's.
Yeah.
Shattered back ground ball by Jones. Longoria's got it. There's one. BRIGNAC. Nope.
Yeah, they're definitely looking for some good things from him. And, you know, we kind of alluded to this with Chen. I mean, not many hitters have seen him in the American League except for that little bit of time he was with Tampa. There's a double play ball attempt. Nice turn, good decision by Longoria getting that lead out at second base. But Jones running hard down the line. Couldn't get the double play.
So it keeps the inning alive for the Orioles' Matt Wieters. Matt's had 10 hits in his last 16 at-bats here this spring. Started out slowly and then just turned it on. Hitting .289 now, a couple of homers, 8 RBIs for the Orioles this spring. Adam Jones, the leader, with 12, and there's that pickoff we were talking about, and Adam will get up slowly.
I think that got him in the back. Yeah. And you whiffed it. Oof.
Never touched it.
Man, that doesn't feel good.
You saw how quick that move is made by Shields. Matt Wieters, strikeout victim. Takes the breaking ball, and it is a strike. The Orioles are led in homers by Jones this spring. He's got 4. Adam also the leader in RBIs at 12. He's over there at first base. He's the leader in hits with 17. Runs, he's tied with Wilson Bettamy. Each have scored 9 times this spring. The Oriole leaders so far. 0-1 count. Outfield deep, straight away. A little shaded over. And you can see Shields really working on his pickoff move here with Jones taking a decent lead. Some of the things you do in spring training, there are items you want to work on. And he may throw over there more than he might during the regular season right now just to work on it.
Well, word's out on him. Everybody knows he's got a good move now.
Yeah, there's no secret there. And even when you know it, he makes plays that are close.
I know Curb's over there. I mean, it seems like the first pickoff, you know, obviously hitting Jonesy in the back wasn't his A move, and the second one wasn't his A move. That one was lightning fast, and you know, Curb's probably over there saying it's not his best one. It's not his best one. That was his best one.
Here's the 0-1 delivery on the way. Foul ball. Molina got hit by that one. That's one of those unhittable pitches. Down and in. Molina needs a little moment here, so he's going out to the mound.
Right up the foot. Yeah, that's going to hurt. Hey, he chose to be a catcher, though.
Nobody's fault but his own.
Hey, he could have played short. He could have pitched.
You should have listened to your brothers. Kept saying, don't do it. Or maybe he's the one who led the charge. Wieters with the 0-2 count and 1 away. Jones off first. Ooh. That's the one he's working on, Shields, and he gets Wieters.
Yeah, that's a real good change-up right there. Great down action at the end, late movement.
Tough 5 strikeouts. It's kind of silently piled up here in just 4 innings. I don't mind being the pitching coach on this ball club, not with this staff. Be over there watching. When Shields is pitching, that's about all you do. Watch and enjoy. 2 down. Tampa Bay dugout. Molina coming over, and they'll have to be in the first row.
There's only a couple guys I think they worry about, and obviously the younger pitchers. But, you know, Hellickson's proven he can do it. Price is obviously proven. I think Matt Moore might be the youngest guy. You know, that's kind of unproven, but what he did at the end of the year last year for them was really impressive.
They are ready to pitch. Johnson, a single his first time up, the designated hitter for the Orioles. No home runs, 3 RBIs. No chance to catch up to that one. Nick hitting at .267 with 5 doubles on the spring. Leads the Orioles in 2 baggers. And certainly looks like he will be on the roster. Will be sharing DH duties, it looks like, with Bettamy.
He'll probably play some first base as well.
0-2 count. There goes Jones. He'll get second. Molina will just make sure he doesn't go any further. So Adam Jones stole a base. After he got hit in the middle of the back, knowing the competitive level Adam plays at, you know, even though in spring game, he wanted to steal a base.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I agree.
2 for 2 this spring.
That's good. Jonesy, he's so fast. I mean, the potential for him to steal 20 bases, I think, isn't out of the question. I think he has the potential to do that. And they work on it. Him and Wayne Kirby are out there, it seems like every day on the half field, working on base running, stolen base jumps. I saw them out there with Brian Roberts, one of the obviously best base stealers in the game. If he can lend some information and help some guys add 5 or 10 stolen bases.
Nick Johnson on a swing and a miss. So Shields has 6 strikeouts. Couple here in this inning to give Wieters and Johnson a runner stranded at second. And a grand slam, a home run. It's a 6-1 Rays lead. We hope you'll experience Camden Yards in an exciting way when you pick up the Oriole Park 5-bagger suite package. For one low price, you get fully catered suites for 5 games, including 2 against the Yankees, Red Sox, or Phillies, plus parking, VIP treatment, and more. Great way to entertain clients, colleagues, and make a statement. Details 410-547-6173 or go to Orioles.com/suites. 26-year-old left-hander WEIYIN CHEN on the mound for the Orioles. No strikeouts and a couple of walks in the ball game. James Shields has walked 1 and struck out 6. Grand slam home run put up in the 4th inning by Desmond Jennings. His second of the game has given the Rays a 6-1 lead. The Orioles got their run in the 1st inning on J.J. Hardy's 2nd home run of the spring. That will bring up Evan Longoria. Longoria double scored in the 1st inning on a KEPPINGER RBI double. And will take the pitch down low for a ball. Interesting column, I thought, in the New York Times yesterday entitled "The Next Big Idea." It was talking about what's the next thing in baseball that's going to be the big idea, like on-base percentage-wise with Moneyball and Oakland. And it mentioned Camden Yards because 20 years ago it was baseball's next big idea. It changed the whole complexion of the building and structure of ballparks. Camden Yards celebrates its 20th anniversary this year, and virtually every team has built a ballpark in that 20-year span, a new one. And they all have to, one way or another, follow what happened to Camden Yards. And the way it was built, fan-friendly, no more the cookie-cutter, all-purpose ballparks that we saw built in the 70s. That was one of the great ideas, and it's made a big difference in the monetary side of the game. Money's taken in by clubs in those new yards. Longoria, 3-1 delivery by Chen. That'll be fouled out.
So the article didn't tell us what the next big idea was? Or?
Well, there were a couple of interesting comments. No, but they were talking with Andrew Friedman, who is the GM of the Tampa Bay Rays, talking about keeping players on the field. The avoiding injury problem fouled off by Longoria. Tampa Bay has done extremely well in that regard, especially as to their pitchers. They've been able to keep their pitchers out there for 30 or more starts per game. And he didn't want to talk very much about what they were doing as far as training and regiments were concerned. Maybe it wasn't anything to say, or maybe they've got something going that they think's an advantage right now. But clearly, you think of how much that would mean to a team. If you can come up with a training regimen that keeps your players on the field, especially your pitchers, and you go through a year without a lot of injuries, find a way to do that. I mean, it gives you an enormous advantage.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. And to be honest with you, I think really the only players that can... That's a long foul ball. The only players that can really do that are starting pitchers. They can establish a good routine. They can get a consistent workout program because they're on a schedule every 5th day. It's a lot harder for a position player that's playing every day, 162 games, and even bullpen guys that, you don't know if you're going to be up or not. A starting pitcher should be able to go out there and develop a great work routine.
Near the wall, Longoria, and goodbye home run. So Tampa Bay putting on the power here today. That one with the help of the wind. Longoria gets the homer, and it's 7-1.
Yeah, the first couple home runs weren't generally wind-aided, but this one was for sure.
4th of the spring.
He's a good hitter. Really probably wouldn't matter if the wind was blowing or not for that guy.
So Chen touched up for 2 home runs by Jennings and 1 by Longoria today. Here's Keppinger's got an RBI double. He puts that one towards right center field. Jones. Keppinger is retired. 1 away. For the Rays, we've talked about their rotation. Those are the names that, if they pitch the way everyone thinks they will be talked about all year long. Shields will lead the charge. Then David Price, who you got to believe is only going to get better, and that 12-13 record. He was one of the hard luck pitchers in runs scored while he pitched last year. Hellickson's just coming around. Matt Moore the same, and Jeff Neiman. I mean, that is just a sparkling group of 5 right there for Tampa Bay. Sean Rodriguez, and put that one back over the screen. He's 0 for 2. Yeah, you're right. Starting pitching, as we've talked about so much, if you can keep them healthy and you get your 5 starters making the starts you hope they make, you're in a pretty great position.
Right.
But nobody's exactly found the magic bullet on that for being able to do that. A lot of that Probably just luck. Good pitch by Chen, turned that one over.
Well, conditioning's definitely huge, you know, for starting pitchers. And I know that we've definitely made some changes in that regard. And I think the hope of this spring was obviously not only to educate our players, but give them a program that will be proven to show that it's not just maintaining through the course of a year, although ultimately that will happen, but to try to stay strong and to keep working strong. And instead of saying, well, I'm tired. I mean, this is your job. You have to go out there for 6 months and try to be the best you possibly can.
That ball driven to center. Jones is going to have plenty of time to haul that one in. Rodriguez retired 2 down.
I mean, you heard Jason Hamill talking about his confidence, and he just feels like a different pitcher when he's out on the mound, and he feels, you know, like he's in control of what's going on. Well, a lot of that comes from conditioning. Just, do you feel strong? You know, do you feel like you're better than that guy at the plate? You know, so I think it all comes into play, and hopefully our guys have all bought into it, and they go out and have great years.
As it is a grind. 2 down, nobody on. Here's Molina. Molina had a double, scored in the 4th inning. The catcher. Chen's 1-0 delivery to him. The other thing in the article about the next great idea was something Joe Madden was talking about today. The article noted the day of having a set lineup that you put in day out, no matter who's pitching or who you're playing, may be coming to an end. And it's because of the amount of information that's available that you have every day and every at bat. We'll talk more about that when we come back, or not. Entirely depends on Mike on whether or not he thinks there's any validity whatsoever to the article in the New York Times. Day, Camden Yards. Hope you'll join us on Friday. All the celebration to start the 2012 season. Our coverage on Masson will begin at 2. A special 1-hour version of O's Extra. Jim and Rick will have it for you. Mike, Jim Palmer, and I will be there for the game. O's and Twins, 3 o'clock. All the access you need right here on Masson. Take a look at the matchup from last year with the Minnesota Twins. The Orioles, while the Twins were struggling physically, had some key people out. The Orioles took advantage and really dominated the series against the Minnesota Twins, and would like nothing better than to kick the season off with a big 3-game set against Minnesota at home.
No doubt about that.
Here's their lineup. Morneau and Mauer both having pretty good springs, especially Joe Mauer.
Well, you know that they're excited to get those 2 guys back in the lineup and swinging the bat well. But, you know, I think this will be a good series for the Orioles, opening up with the Twins. Obviously, the success they had against them last year, you know, potentially could carry over, you know, and get the Orioles off on the right foot.
Carl Pavano will be the opening day pitcher for them. And you see Matt Torra, who has come on to do the pitching. His numbers last year from minor league opportunities, as Shields is out of there doing just what he said he was going to do, get up around 60 and lead. He gave up a run on just 2 hits to the Orioles in 4 innings, 1 walk and 6 strikeouts for James Shields. Mark Reynolds, he popped out his first time up. Reynolds, Davis, and Andino, the bottom third of the order for the Orioles in the bottom half of the 5th inning. What we were talking about with the no longer using set lineups with making decisions not only game to game but within game is about all the information that's available. Frank Wren, who's with the Braves, talked about that in that New York Times article, and he thinks that's the next big idea is going to be the iPad. It's illegal now to have the iPad on the bench. He would like to see it made legal, and he says it will affect moment-to-moment decisions that are made by managers if all that data is available in their hand on an iPad while they're on the bench.
No doubt about it.
And that's what Madden was talking about this morning because of the injuries to Sam Fold and B.J. Upton, that they're not going to be available to play. He's going to have to juggle the lineup, so they're doing it based on who are they going to be playing, what's the starting pitching going to be, what are the numbers against those teams and pitchers, and base a lineup on that rather than how we used to think of lineups as being 1 through 9 every day, no matter who, no matter what.
Right. No, I think that's coming. I know it's already been a part of the game, maybe not for a whole lineup, but definitely for certain players. You know, they get bit by the computer sometimes. But, you know, in the same line, I had an interesting talk with Buck Showalter this morning. We were talking about, you know, leadoff hitters, and he said that if you talk to the people now that are involved with the stats and everything that goes along with the game, much like Joe Madden was saying, and, you know, a baseball lineup, typically, if you put the numbers in a computer, should have your best hitter batting first, second best batting second.
That's through the shift for a base hit.
You know, third hitter, best hitter batting third, and so on, because those are the guys that are going to come up so often, right?
Right.
So
why wouldn't you do that?
Why wouldn't you? We should try that. I'm not saying let's try it now, but maybe sometime in the middle of summer if things aren't going our way.
I mean, that's been raised before. I don't think I've never heard of anyone who's tried that in an actual game situation, but they keep talking about make sure you got your 3 best hitters in the top 3 spots so they get the most at bats in the course of the year.
Right. Well, a lot of it comes down to, you know, you don't want a guy clogging the bases either, because potentially our best hitter might be the slowest guy on the team. You know, so you obviously need some speed up there at the top. But and then the 9-hole hitter obviously comes into play too, especially in our lineup. If we have, you know, Reinhold leading off and have Andino hitting 9th, it's great. It's like you have 2 leadoff hitters anyway.
Here is Chris Davis. Davis, a strikeout victim. Against the shift, takes it to left field. You can see the wind blowing that one around out there. Joyce is there to get it. Davis retired. I think it's an interesting concept. The idea of doing that. It's so anti-baseball that I'm not sure there's any manager is willing to actually try that in a game situation. Maybe in spring training it might be worth a look-see. But the trouble is what you're talking about really, it's not for one game. The idea of doing that is that in the course of a year, you're going to have your best hitters get the most at bats.
Right, but then it also goes back to what you're saying. What if some of these numbers aren't the best off this pitcher? So the lineup could potentially change there too. So.
Yeah. So we're going to refine this to the best numbers against the pitcher on the mound that day, the starter.
There you go.
And your batting order will be 1 through 9 based on the best numbers against that pitcher.
And some guys may find themselves in the 9-hole every day. That's where I would have found myself, and that's the only reason I'm saying that.
Robert Andino, and the pitcher's taken for a strike.
There are so many numbers in the game nowadays. They really could develop a program that if you said, okay, we're facing Shields tonight, and just, you know, push a button, and all the proper numbers would come out and make up the lineup. I guarantee you.
Yes, you can do that right now. 1-1 delivery, and fisted him on that one. Longoria. Oh, 1. Not going to turn 2. Ball will come off the facade, and he'll stay at first. I didn't think he'd go for 2 on that, actually, but he almost got it done.
That's really a great play by the third baseman. He's aggressive. He saw the ball. He got jammed in Dino, so it's not coming at him as fast. So the speed of the ball obviously dictated his aggressiveness on it. And when he came in to get that, I think first thought was, well, might as well go to first because all your momentum's coming this way. But that play at second base is great. Now, granted, it's 7-1 game, but to be able to get that lead runner out is crucial.
Pitchers love those kind of plays.
Definitely.
Boy. Here's Endy Chavez, runner at first and 2 down. And Torres pitches in there for a strike. Chavez getting the start in left field is 0 for 2. He is flied out and struck out. Orioles being out hit 6-3 right now in the ball game, and Tampa Bay with the 7-1 lead. Even with the bag, Longoria at third. Popped up, second base. BRIGNAC. And that will do it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. So Torres comes on for his first inning and a good one. Tampa Bay up 7-1. I want to remind you that the festivities of opening week at Camden Yards continue on Monday, April 9. The Orioles are going to host the Yankees first of 3. On Tuesday, April 10, don't miss the season's first Ollie's Bargain Night, presented by Ollie's Bargain Outlet. All upper reserved seats for Tuesdays and all Tuesday home games are just $9 in advance. So get your 20th anniversary season of Camden Yards started off right. 888-848-BIRD or go to Orioles.com. With Mike Bordick and our great crew, I'm Gary Thorne. This is Zach Phillips trying to earn a spot in the Orioles bullpen. Left-hander on for CHEN.
He's definitely earned the opportunity. He's had a great spring. I will say that he does have an option left, so that potentially could hurt him. But he's done enough to make this club this spring, that's for sure.
Well, he really has put up some great numbers for the Orioles in the 10 appearances, 4 runs, 12 hits, a 1.46 earned run average, a couple of walks, 8 strikeouts.
Yeah, and Billy Castro wouldn't give us any inside information down there.
He wouldn't, would he? Tight-lipped?
Yeah, very tight-lipped. But I would think that the Orioles need a couple lefties out of that bullpen anyway.
Certainly would think so. Matt Joyce, second base, and Dino. Joyce with an 0 for 2 and a walk in the ball game. 1 down, 6th inning. Johnson and then BRIGNAC are due up. For Zach Phillips, he is 25 years old. Last year with the Orioles, got in 10 games. He was at Norfolk for 14 games, and at Round Rock when he was in the Texas organization, 33 games there. Heading towards the seats down the first base side, and that's where it will end up. Nick Green in the deal with Texas in July for Zach Phillips. Another organization that's done a real good job of putting some pitching staffs together. The Rangers. 0-1 count. Davis. Wynn will blow it back. He's got it. 2 down.
Pretty athletic play for that big fella. Fighting the elements. Never an easy pop-up in spring training.
Never.
Sure.
Phillips gets a couple of outs, and there are 2 down. Here's BRIGNAC. He has popped out and flied up. Super utility player for the Rays. Infield, outfield, playing second base, plays short, plays right. Trying to bunt his way on. He's going to make it. No! Nice play by Phillips. You either get it with a glove and get the out, or you're not going to get him. Good defensive play in a 1-2-3 inning. Zach Phillips, pitcher, you can help your own cause if you can play D, and Mikey did right there.
Well, he made a great play. Now, the pitchers have been working on this play all spring. Typically, you'll see a lot of teams where the first baseman will go after that ball, and the pitcher will have to cover first. Well, Buck's philosophy is that's a much tougher play. If a pitcher is aggressive and he can field his position, why not take a deeper angle to that ball, and it'll make it a lot easier. If it gets by the pitcher, then the second baseman has to make that play. But Buck does not want the first baseman to vacate in that situation and then make the tougher throw back to the pitcher. So well executed and very athletic play by the pitcher.
And save some injuries too with those collisions we see when the pitcher covers, huh?
Sure.
And guys going around like that get hurt. Matt Torra on the mound for his second inning, working against J.J. Hardy, accounting for the Orioles' run in the first inning with his second spring training home run. The Orioles have only 3 hits. They now have 4. And 2 home runs in the ball game. Goodbye home run, J.J. Hardy, and it's a 7-2 game. Two on the day, 3 in the spring. And accounting for both of the Oriole runs, J.J. Hardy. I guess any question what Mike was talking about earlier, whether he's healthy or not, sure looks like he's okay.
Yeah, those were a couple great swings. That ball went a long way.
Like Markakis, a walk and a ground ball out. We'll take it on the outside corner.
Well, here's the pass he had. Very similar to the first one. Catcher made a bad call, I guess. But JJ, we talked about him and his rhythm and timing. Well, this is the perfect time to get your rhythm and timing here the last couple days of spring training, and that's got to make JJ feel pretty good.
1-1 delivered to Markakis, and he'll take it down low. Both the Orioles and Tampa Bay using the long ball in this one. Tampa Bay's had 3 home runs, 2 by Jennings, who has 5 RBIs in the game. on a grand slam. And Longoria has hit the long ball, a solo shot. Now the Orioles getting their second home run of the game, both from Hardy.
We need a couple guys on base, right?
Yes. Would help. 7-2. Rays about hit the Orioles 6-4. Markakis with a 2-2. Up and away, pops it up. Joyce, long run. And can't get to it.
Got a little worried down there, getting close to that wall.
We were talking today about how the Orioles have another starter who was working on an inter-squad game. Tommy Hunter worked today. 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, 90 pitches thrown in the ball game for Hunter. Pretty effective day.
Not bad. 90 pitches, that's a good number. Seems like he's ready. Now, he had a setback earlier this spring, you know, so it's good that he's back on track as far as his pitch count.
Hunter in the Orioles rotation for start of the year. That'll bring up Adam Jones. Jones is hit into a fielder's choice, and he has grounded out. Torres' pitch will miss, one away here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Came back inside to him. Jones certainly could not have a better spring than what he has put up, leading the Orioles in a number of offensive categories. Adam will take it inside. So he'll try and continue to grow in yet another year. He's done that successfully over the last couple, and 4 home runs, 12 RBIs, lead the Orioles this spring. And that's right to Rodriguez.
They had a mini shift on right there and had Rodriguez playing over in the hall. Where's that bring you? Did they switch those 2 up again? I think they did.
Well, I think you're right. And Joe said he was going to do that. He said midway through the game, I'm going to shuffle BRIGNAC and Rodriguez. So BRIGNAC's gone to short. Rodriguez has gone back to second. See what we were talking about?
Yeah.
And you see the number of shifts that have been used both today by Madden against both right and left-handers. Here's a shift again on Matt Wieters. We're seeing more and more shifts being used against right-handed hitters this spring than I can remember. Here's the 1-1. They've worked Wieters inside all day, successfully by Shields, who struck him out twice.
They seem to. Go ahead.
You know, Shields was setting him up with the off-speed stuff.
I think, you know, Madden obviously is a pretty aggressive manager from the standpoint of, you know, positioning and moving guys around, juggling lineups and stuff. But, you know, watching their defensive linemen just through the course of this spring training game, I mean, they play really aggressive, you know, shifts. And I think most, obviously, hitters have tendencies, but it seems like he really maximizes that.
On the warning track for the out, Wieters is retired. A run on a hit. J.J. Hardy delivering his 3rd of the spring. His 2nd of this ball game has made it a 7-2 Rays lead. You can follow the Orioles with the MLB.com At Bat 12 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or Windows Mobile. You get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text At Bat 31826 or visit Orioles.com for details. Barry Thorne, Mike Wardick on a beautiful summer-like Sunday. And here is Eric Gregg coming on for the Orioles to do the pitching. The closer has still not been officially announced by Buck Showalter, but for, did I say Eric? I apologize, Kevin. I'm thinking of an umpire. Jim Johnson expected to be the closer. The outside for a ball, but again, nothing has been made official. In 6 outings, 6 innings, 3 runs, 6 hits for Kevin. He's struck out 5 and walked 4. Left field, deep again at the wall, and goodbye, home run. Desmond Jennings, a 3-homer ball game and 6 RBIs.
Did you say he was trying to win a spot? Is he trying to win a spot on this thing? Man, oh man. He's having a good day. Another elevated fastball. Gets to it really well. He didn't hit that one as well as he hit the first 2, but I think he's got a funny feeling today.
Whatever you had for breakfast, keep doing it.
Yeah, too bad they won that lottery the other day, right?
Yeah. Here's Carlos Pena. So a 3-homer day for Jennings and a 4-homer day so far for the Rays. They've really pounded it out. Tampa Bay with 22 home runs this spring. The Orioles with 23 home runs. Pena's 0 for 3 in the ball game and will take the pitch outside. For Kevin Gregg, that's the 2nd home run he has surrendered in 6+ innings of work this spring.
As a whole, the Orioles pitchers haven't given up many home runs at all this spring.
1-1 delivery, and the pitch is taken away. 2 ball, 1 strike count. This Tampa Bay team, as we said, came in worried about their offense. Not that Joe Madden was worried. He said before the game, I'm not worried, we'll score runs. Fastball is taken away. He said, I am worried about the ball game we played yesterday where we committed a couple of errors and gave up unearned runs. That worries me. 3 ball, 1 strike count. Madden's team today has had the charge. 8 runs, 7 hits. 3-1 delivery. And that will be outside. So the first 2 have reached base against Kevin Gregg.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I see a lot of good bats here in the Tampa lineup, but I know there have been some points made with the production from their shortstop position and from their catching position. But you know, with Pena adding power and Luke Scott there, and some of these guys have Longoria, have very productive, you know, offensive, you know, years. But I understand where Madden's coming from as far as the concern if their team makes a couple errors, because when you have that good of pitching, you got to make plays behind them.
Yep. That is an imperative, and just probably he said he thought it was the worst game the team had played this spring was yesterday. Toward short, Hardy's going to backhand it. Goes to Andino. There's one, and there's one.
Nice play by JJ. Hard hit ball in the hole. He got to it. Great transfer this time. Gets it to Andino. Good feed. Andino just sometimes he tries to be a little too quick with that double play turn, and there tends to be a little bit of separation between his glove and his throwing hand. And when there's too much air created in between, you're not going to get the best grip on the ball. In this case, there was no grip on the ball.
So here is Keppinger. He's doubled in a run. He has popped out and flied out. Runner on at first base and one away. Jeff Keppinger is the designated hitter. 0-1 pitch to him. Let's try it again. 1 and 2. So they double it up. The home run by Jennings leading it off. Extends the lead. 7th inning stretch time here in Sarasota. 8-2 Rays. Congratulations to Mike Mussina and Rich Dower, who are going to the Orioles Hall of Fame. You see the numbers for Mike Mussina. Spent the first 10 of his 18 Major League seasons with the Orioles from 91 to 2000. 147 wins and 81 losses. Still ranks among the all-time leaders. 3rd in wins, 2nd in strikeouts, 5th in starts, 8th in shutouts. Rich Dower, he'll be going in by the Veterans Committee. Second baseman, his entire 10-year career with the Orioles, 76 through 85, 257 and 1,140 games that he played with the O's. Dower currently with the Colorado Rockies, third base coach. He was the Orioles' first round pick, 24 overall, back in '74. And also going in will be Walter Yous, posthumously as the Herb Armstrong Award winner. He was known as the Babe Ruth of amateur baseball in Baltimore. As he was a scout and a real good one, and was the coach of numerous amateur teams in the Baltimore area. So Mike Mussina, Rich Dower, and Walter Yous, they'll be going into the Orioles Hall of Fame. Join Mike Gordon.
That's a great group of players right there, isn't it? I think this is just a stepping stone for Mike Mussina.
That one is going to go deep to center, and goodbye home run. Boy, did Nick Johnson get that one up. That was way up off the batter's eye in center field, over 400 feet away, and the home run barrage continues as it's 8-3.
Another solo shot, though, for the Orioles.
Johnson will get the congratulations. His first home run of the spring. 2 for 3 in the ball game with a single and a homer.
You better be careful. He may end up getting 600 at bats this summer.
He can do that. Nobody will mind.
Right. Wow, that's a great swing. I mean, he has such a pure left-handed stroke. You don't typically see that kind of power from him. You see a nice gap-to-gap swing, but he got after that one.
So the home run by Johnson, the Orioles' 5th hit of the ball game. 3 of those have been homers, 2 by Hardy. Mark Reynolds will take it outside. He is singled and popped out. Reynolds came in and he just 159 with a homer and 5 RBIs. One of the most unusual numbers this spring anywhere has got to be this one. Who leads the Orioles in walks this spring?
Mark Reynolds?
Mark Reynolds. And a swing and a miss. He has now walked 10 times and struck out 10 times this spring.
I'd like him to get a couple hits because, I know he's been pressing a little bit here lately. Like most players, if you're not getting the hits and you don't feel that nice, feeling like you're in a good groove at the end of spring training, you tend to press a little bit more.
Chris Davis will take it down low.
Chris Davis as well. I'd like to see him to. He's gotten some hits, but I'd like to see him hit some more home runs.
2 home runs and 4 RBIs on the spring, and 0 for 2 today. He struck out and fly out. Orioles finishing up their spring against Tampa Bay. They've beaten them once and tied them twice. The Orioles and Tampa Bay lead spring training in tie games. Tampa Bay's got 5. The Orioles have 6. On the line the other way in 5. Orioles 11, 12, and 6. Tampa Bay 8, 16, and 5.
Now, Tampa hasn't had a great spring, have they?
No. These two managers have watched a lot of fly balls leave the yard today, with 7 of the 12 being home runs combined for the Orioles and Rays. 1-2 delivery to Chris Davis, and he'll fight that one off. Stay at the ball and 2 strikes. The Orioles came in as a team hitting .239, 28th among the 30 major league teams this spring. Tampa Bay dead last, hitting .225 as a ball club this spring. 1-2 delivery, foul back into the screen.
Any surprises of who's first?
Team-wise?
Yeah.
Check the handy-dandy sheet. Not really. Toronto's first. No, Toronto's first in pitching, actually. Kansas City Royals are leading the major leagues in batting average at .302. The Angels .301, Oakland .293, and San Diego .292.
That's that Arizona.
Yes, that's exactly.
Much better hitters league.
Don't you wish you'd gone there? Fouled away. Count stays at 1 and 2. San Diego has scored more runs than any other team in spring training. I mean, you never would have guessed that.
Right.
A ball club that strictly relies on pitching, playing in a ballpark that is disadvantageous to hitters.
Right.
Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way, and that'll be nub foul. Nobody's ever come up with spring training numbers that equate to what goes on during the season.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, you have some guys that come out of spring training with 12, 14 ERAs, end up winning 22 games.
Yep. Down to first. Ooh, big hop. And that will get Davis. Johnson had a Final Four rebound up on that one.
Well, this is what, when we've talked about these spring training fields. Sun comes out, the wind's drying them out. So I think every infielder is ready for something like that to happen as the ball comes out to you.
Stay alert, stay alive.
Yeah.
Here's Robert Andino. He's flied out and hit into a fielder's choice. Some of the names among the leading hitters this spring are familiar. Michael Young, Alex Gordon, Matt Holliday, Albert Pujols hitting .407. They're all in the top 10 in averages. Eric Hosmer leads all teams with Kansas City hitting .425 this spring. Right to short. BRIGNAC is there to get it. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on. The homer by Nick Johnson has put the Orioles on the board for another. Tampa Bay's lead now 8-3. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Baltimore Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Baltimore Orioles. We've kept an eye this spring on our favorite eagle. The eaglets are very big, but they've not yet flown. They have not flown the coop or the top of that transmission tower. They tried today. We were watching earlier. They had shots of where they were out there on the side of the nest flapping. They're getting ready to leave the nest, but not yet.
Right now they're enjoying a feast. Mom brought home something good.
Whoa.
Maybe a little sea bass.
Here's Stu Pomerantz. Pomerantz on to do the pitching. Kevin Gregg worked an inning. He hit a run, the home run, hit by Jennings. John Rodriguez is coming to the plate. Hoffman's gone to left field. Markakis out. Jay Miller's going to play in center. Utility man. McFlaherty's gone to shortstop. He's going to make the ball club. And Scope has moved into second base for Andino. To short. Knocked down. Flaherty. Oh, nice pick. Great play at both ends on that one. Flaherty the stop and Davis the pick.
That really was a great play. I mean, welcome to the game, Ryan Flaherty. The bullet in the hole has to dive deep, but create a deep angle there, and comes up. Strong arm over the top. Great pick by Davis. Not stretching too soon. Getting himself in a good position to make a play on that ball. Really good play all the way around.
Really nice play. First at bat for Jeff Salazar. Nice work short and first for the Orioles. Salazar looking to make this ball club. Hitting .258. Home run. 2 RBIs. He's an outfielder. He's one of probably 3 players that's got a shot at making the team because of the injuries to Fold and Upton. Salazar clocks that one to right center field. Way back in the gap. That's going to take a hop up and over, and that'll be a double.
He was in our organization a couple of years ago. Jeff Salazar.
That one had a nice sound coming off the bat. Salazar was with the Diamondbacks in 08 and actually was on the roster to start. Jesus Feliciano is another that's looking to make it. He's never been on an opening day roster in 14 pro years, and a youngster, Brandon Geyer's the other. Those are the 3 big names that they're talking about that may make this Tampa ball club while Upton and Fold are out. Salazar didn't hurt his cause right there. Runner on at second base. Here's Matt Joyce. Joyce has walked and scored, grounded out twice to second. 1-1. Pomerantz on the mound for the Orioles, who have now given up 8 runs on 8 hits in the ball game. Chen, the starter, 7 runs but only 3 earned on 6 hits. Phillips worked an inning. Gregg an inning. Now Pomerantz. Matt Joyce will take it inside.
That'd be a different look ball game, right? If we would have been able to turn that double play earlier in the game.
There have been 2 defensive misplays by the Orioles, or plays not made, that could have really changed it. One that resulted in the keeping the door open for the grand slam home run that was put up by Jennings in the 4th inning. The Orioles should have been out of that. Chen should have been out of the inning before Jennings ever came to the plate. 3-1 delivery, and Allen's ripped. But as pitchers like to say, it's just a foul ball.
Strike 2. Almost got Billy Castro down there in the bullpen.
Talking pitching. 3 ball, 2 strike count. Runner at second base and 1 down. Just missed. A bit outside the bag, and the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Another heat advisory here today.
Stay hydrated, right?
Seems like every game it's 85 degrees.
Out there in the field, if you're in the sun, it's pushing the upper 80s. 3 balls, 2 strikes. They hold the runner at second base. Good off-speed breaking ball. 2 down. Pomeranz gets the strikeout. Now Johnson, who made that nice defensive play in the last half inning, comes up. Pitch right there had him off balance. Elliot Johnson has reached on an error, scored, walked, and popped out. In there for a strike. Here's the 0-1. Over the top of that one in an 0-2 count.
Pomeranz has really impressed this spring. You know, he came in as just, you know, non-roster, invited into camp, and first of all, his size really, you say, wow, this is how they're supposed to look. And every time he goes out, he does something that's very impressive. He's on the radar, you know, and that's what you hope is a non-roster invited player. You know, some of these younger guys that have come over from the minor leagues and stuff, anytime you get an opportunity, coaches say, hey, who is this kid? You know, boom, you get on the radar.
Scope's got it and just got him.
Jonathan Scope is one of those guys.
Yeah, Scope with a close play against a speedy Elliot Johnson. Is going to come to you opening day from Camden Yards. We hope you'll join us on Friday for the celebration of the start of the 2012 season. Our coverage on Masson begins at 2. A special 1-hour version of O's Extra. Jim Hunter, Rick Dempsey will have it for you. Then Mike, Jim Palmer, and I will bring you the game, the O's and the Twins, at 3 o'clock. All the access you need right here on Masson.
Pretty
Minnesota
exciting.
in for 3.
Sorry about that. Pretty exciting time of year, isn't it?
Yep. That is a foul ball. Yeah, it certainly is. And to open up at home is always great fun. You start the season there. The Friday games at 3, 7 o'clock on Saturday, and 1:30 on Sunday. And then the Yankees will be in for 3 night games at 7 o'clock on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 9, 10, and 11 of April. Here's the 1-1 delivery. Robbie Price has come on to play at second base. Julio Murillo has come on at third base. Longoria out of there. John Rodriguez out of there, I think, unless BRIGNAC still a trick. They've been moved around all day. Ryan Flaherty's getting his first at bat. be hauled in, and Flaherty is retired. One away. Ty Morrison has come on to play left field for Joyce.
How valuable do utility players come in that? When we're talking about that new theory. I mean, if you know how to play more than one position, I mean, your value just skyrockets in those situations, especially if you swing the bat.
Super utility players are being called in this day and age. They can play, give you a pretty decent bat, and play both infield and outfield. And you're right, absolutely invaluable if you're going to be adjusting lineups. Jamie Hoffman on the big cut. Hoffman getting his first at bat for the Orioles. He's had only one at bat this spring. One down, nobody on in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Orioles will finish up the season here in the spring training part of it against Florida Southern College, State College of Florida. 2 different games, 2 colleges, and then Norfolk in the 4th before heading to Baltimore. And a called strike 3.
All right, a little bit down, locked him up. Hoffman knew it was down and let the umpire know.
And Nick Markakis will come to the plate. Markakis 0 for 2, and he has drawn a walk.
Yeah.
One of the schools, State College of Florida, that the Orioles are going to play, Jim Johnson is taking classes there, working on his degree.
Nice.
Right here in this area.
Is that why we're playing that game?
I think probably. Jim's hoping it'll affect his grade. Markakis drives it deep to right field at the wall, and goodbye home run, Nick Markakis. And Nick makes that an 8-4 game as the home run barrage goes on.
Oh, that's good to see, you know, with limited at bats this spring for Nick. Get him feeling good about himself here going into the season.
Second spring training home run for Markakis. So Hardy's got 2, Johnson's got 1, and Markakis has 1. All solo shots for the Orioles.
Yeah, and he's really got to cover this ball because, he leans on it, gets behind it. He knew it right away. I mean, he's got to cut the traffic. The wind's blowing the other way.
Jonathan Scope puts that one up in the air. It is hauled in by Morrison in left field. The Orioles get the run on the Markakis homer, make it an 8-4 game going to the 9th. Orioles baseball on Masson, brought to you by Sarasota. So much to see and do in Sarasota on Florida's Gulf Coast. Go beyond the stadium to the #1 beach in the USA. Visit number1beach.com. Many beautiful bridges around the Sarasota Bradenton area. Big crowd on hand here today for this one. Reid BRIGNAC 0 for 3. Fouls it back. Flaherty has moved over to first base. Ryan Flaherty. Buck Britton has come on to play at shortstop. Wheeler will play at third base for the Orioles, just entering the game. And doing the catching is Gabriel Lino. And Mike Showalter is getting the starters out of the ball game. 1-1, and that is inside. Reid BRIGNAC going the distance in this ball game. 8-0 for the Rays, 4-6-1 for the Orioles. Lawrence's pitch is going to be fouled back. Tampa Bay gets to open up against the Yankees. We were talking about how the Orioles, while they play some division teams, do not have the heavy schedule against the division. Tampa Bay gets the Yankees to start. Detroit, then Boston and Toronto. Big road trip. They have 3 in Detroit, 3, 4 in Boston, and 3 in Toronto. That'll be a base hit for BRIGNAC. So he gets the single in the 9th inning. That is hit number 9 for Tampa Bay. Jake Depew will get his first at bat. Jennings probably wanted to stay on, see if he could have a full homer game.
Yeah, you're right.
Jennings in the leadoff spot had 2 solo homers and a grand slam, 6 RBIs. Pomerantz will give it over to Flaherty, get the out. Down to second base, BRIGNAC. Depew retired, 1 away. Pomerantz working to finish it up for the Orioles. Kevin Kiermaier will get his first at bat. Kiermaier hitting in the number 2 spot. Runner at second base and 1 out. Breaking ball will miss. BRIGNAC, the runner at second. And Kiermaier will pop it up, and that'll be out of play. 92-mile-an-hour fastball right there to even the count up with a ball and a strike.
Have you heard anything about who's going to be doing the pitching for the college games?
No.
I wonder if we're going to be throwing our guys.
It's going to go to short. And Flaherty with a great pick over at first base. Britton's throw is in the dirt, and Flaherty, who moved from short to first, we're talking about super utility players, pulls it out.
Yeah. He said, hey, Chris Davis helped me. Let me help the new shortstop here. Buck Britton with a nice quick release. Does throw it a little bit low. That is a really nice play for Flaherty. He probably hasn't played much first base. To be able to keep that ball inside his left foot is a key. Makes that pick a lot easier.
Julio Murillo takes it to left field. Hoffman is there. So Pomerantz with a couple of good innings, gave up a couple of hits. Nobody scored against him. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Rays lead it by 4. So there's your line going to the bottom half of the ninth inning. It's been the home runs with men on base that has given Tampa Bay their 8-4 lead. Jennings with the 6 RBI day and 3 home runs while he was in there. Longoria, a solo home run, RBI by Keppinger. He picked that up on a measly double. This game, anything other than a homer. Torres done a nice job on the mound coming on. They've only used 2 pitchers in this game. Shields worked 4, gave up a run on 2 hits over 4 innings. Torres come on, and the Orioles have been held to the 4 runs on 6 hits. The Orioles have left only 3 on base in the game and only 1 in scoring position.
Yeah, Shields looked pretty comfortable out there today. Said he only wanted to throw 60 pitches, but it looked like he could have gone a complete game.
Again.
Yeah.
Bud Britton's going to get the at-bat here in the bottom of the ninth inning to start it up. Got Showalter taking a look and thinking about those final decisions for the bullpen. Down to first, and that's going to be into the outfield. Britton will make the turn, and he's got a stand-up double and hit it hard.
Once again, Buck Britton impressing. Buck Showalter. In a fine defensive play. Last inning, comes up and double down the line. Nice swing.
Though Britton on the Orioles now with 7 hits in the game. Britton gets his first 2-bagger. Came in hitting a .250, only 12 at bats prior to today. Nick Johnson with a big count, a home run in the 7th inning, leading it off. He's 2 for 3 in the ball game, a single. He has also struck out. Orioles went with that lineup today that put some strikeouts together. Johnson, Reynolds, and Davis, 6, 7, 8 in the order. 0-1 is foul back, but it's worked out pretty well. Johnson has struck out once, Reynolds once, Davis once. That's good. 0-2 count on Nick Johnson.
I can see Johnson being more of top of the order DH, I would think, because his on-base percentage is so high. Career 400 on-base percentage.
Lineups are really going to be interesting for a lot of teams. Buck Showalter is going to have some interesting decisions to make. As we've talked about Tampa Bay having to do that change up depending on who they're playing, who's pitching. Buck Showalter's probably going to do some of that with the Orioles. He certainly is not going to have a set lineup. Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball taken down low. The number 4 spot. And it looks like Adam Jones. Adam Jones has certainly played well enough this spring to earn that with his power numbers. He may take that spot. That's been subject to discussion. Chavez, Reynolds, depending on who's in left field, probably in the leadoff spot. 2-2 to Johnson.
There are some interchangeable parts, though, for sure. I mean, ideally, I think you'd like to see Markakis and Jones stay right there in the 3-4 hole, but boy, Markakis could even lead off. I mean, he's a good hitter. He's patient. You know, he's got a good on-base percentage. It would be nice if Reimhold could return to that 09 form where he had a .365 on-base percentage and hit 15 home runs. Because if he gets comfortable in that 1 hole, man, I mean, that could really be a game changer because Nolan Reimhold is so athletic. He can run well. Every ball he puts in play goes hard down the line. And if he can flip out 15 or 20 home runs, all that's going to do is increase his on-base percentage because they're going to be scared to pitch to him.
Exactly, and that's what the Orioles, I think, came into the spring hoping for. Reimold has not had the kind of numbers that he'd like to see, though, coming in. Just a 179 batting average. Little wrinkle right there, and Johnson is on. So the Orioles get runners on at first and second base. Only the second walk the Orioles have picked up in the game. Wheeler will get his first at bat. Hitting in Mark Reynolds' spot. Zealous Wheeler has not had an at bat in the regular spring games. This will be the first one that he's going to have a chance to put up. Zealous Wheeler, nobody out. Runners at first and second base in a 1-strike count. That's going to get a second. Robbie Price able to get the out at first base, would not turn the 2. The Orioles will get runners at second and third now with 1 down. Here's a chance for the Orioles in 1 hit here to put up a couple of runs.
Running out of time, but
yep,
it's never over till it's over.
Scott Beer gets the chance. This is his first at bat. Beer has seen quite a few games, B games, this spring, and he has 34 at bats for the Orioles in the regular spring training games. That's a chopper to short. Running throw, Brignac, if he can get it out of the glove, does. Run will score. RBI. Britton crosses. 8-5. And that'll bring up Jay Miller. Miller hitting 9th. He'll get his first at bat. The runner at third base and 2 down. Bottom of the 9th inning. Orioles looking to wrap up their spring training against Major League teams. 2 college games and the AAA game at Norfolk. Left on the spring schedule for Buck Showalter. Johnson at third. Miller will take the pitch, and it goes to 2-0. Jay Miller hitting .233. He's had 43 at bats, couple of home runs, does have 10 RBIs, leads the team in strikeouts with 20, drawing just 1 walk.
Yeah, he's had a little trouble with the breaking ball this spring. You know, but he's one of those guys, man. The power potential is there if he can figure out that, you know, recognize that slider sooner or get himself in a position where he can lay off that pitch. There's incredible potential there.
3-1 the count. Johnson off third base. And Torres' delivery. And he did lay off him right there. And he draws the line just the second of the swing for him. So the Orioles are going to get the potential tying run to the plate in this 8-5 ball game here in the bottom of the 9th. Ryan Flaherty coming up. He's played both short and first in this game. Flaherty's hitting .241 this spring, a home run, 10 RBIs, couple of doubles, and 2 triples.
Had a really good spring. Probably a lock to be on this team. A lot of great attributes, you know. The versatility to play outfield and infield.
Runner going to second. That'll be a free pass.
And being a left-handed bat.
There are 2 down here, so the Orioles trying to get it done with 2 away in the 9th inning. And Flaherty the cut to foul it off, and a 2-strike count. Flaherty played in the outfield for the first time in the Cubs organization last year in minor league. Had 28 games in left and 13 in right field, along with his work in the infield. 0-2 the count. Flaherty in the air to center field. That's going to be a little shy of the warning track, and that's going to be the ball game. So the Orioles will pick up one here in the 9th inning. They will leave a base runner on. And it's an 8-5 Rays win. And our next telecast will be coming to you opening day from Camden Yards. I hope you'll join us on Friday for all the great celebration of the opener. Our coverage on Madison will begin at 2. Jim Hunter, Rick Dempsey will bring you a special 1-hour version of O's Extra. Then Mike Wardick, Jim Palmer, and yours truly, Gary Thorne, will be on hand for the game against the Twins at 3 o'clock. That's it from Sarasota. Hope you enjoyed our coverage of spring training baseball. For Mike Wardick and our great crew, I'm Gary Thorne. This has been a Masson presentation. We'll see you opening day. Adieu, adieu.